What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're talking the Dana 60 rear end build we've been doing for a CJ7. We are to the point now where we have our axle shafts, our brake kit, and we've set up our gears and we're putting this thing together. So I wanted to go over a couple things with you guys to just show you kind of the differences of what you're getting when you build something like this. So we've already set the gears up. They're 410 gears with a Yukon zip locker. I'll go over doing a gear setup in a different video, but right now I just wanted to go over kind of what we've done to narrow it, get the housing ends on, the upgraded axle shafts and the brake kit, and you know, really why we ended up choosing this axle. So one of the first things to look at is just your axle shafts. So right here we have a stock Dana 44 shaft out of a Scout. If you can find that rear end and it's going to work for you width-wise and everything, great, go with it. Nothing really wrong with a Scout, again, except that they're just getting harder and harder to come by. Now, I will tell you, if you're doing a Dana 60, you might want to look in upgrading to 35 spline. Why? Well, a 30 spline Dana 60 shaft is the same dimension, at least at your splines, as a Dana 44. So we decided to go with 35 spline, and I just wanted to show you guys for visual reference just the difference. So you have an 1.5" 35 spline compared to, what is it, 1.3 30 spline. So again, look at just the size difference in that. Much stronger. These are brand new axle shafts from Dutchman Motorsports. I highly recommend Dutchman for, you know, brand new axle shafts, chromoly front and rear. If you need a cut and respline axle shaft, send them to them. They can do them. They do great work. And then they also sell your housing ends as well. So that's, you know, why we decided to go with 35 spline, why you go with the Dana 60. You can put 35 spline in a 44, but you are limited in what lockers you can use for that. So that's why, you know, you go to a Dana 60, you get the bigger ring and pinion. It just kind of opens you up to doing more stuff. You can also stab Dana 70 gears in a Dana 60, but again, that's for another video. So now we're to the point, I put one side together for you guys just to show you what the brakes and the axle shaft's going to look like, and we'll kind of go over that here quick. So this is our 5-on 5.5 rotor. This kit is from Speedway Motors. There's your part number if you want it. It comes with a bunch of stuff. So you get a bunch of different brackets that will actually bolt to the housing end. These are your spacers that take the place of what would be your backing plate. I'll show you on this side. What you're gonna do is put your bolts through, and then you take this spacer, that goes on first, then the axle shaft will go in, the bearing retainer will butt up next to this spacer. Then you put your actual bracket. As you can see here, I've already got my bolts and everything through it, but this will then bolt on the outside of your bearing retainer. And once you have it all kind of said and done, this is what it looks like. So as you can see, I've already got my spacers in there to space my bracket where it needs to be, so that when you bolt the caliper up, you know, we don't have any binding. I'll just turn my pinion here. You guys can see this thing, how it runs. Nice, straight and true. And again, these are e-brake calipers. All this stuff now you can buy off the shelf if you really wanted to. But really nice setup. This is why we used these housing ends. It gives you the ability to go with a universal brake kit from Speedway, or just kind of any brake kit that's for a Ford 9-inch. Works really well. Probably the thing that's going to take you the longest is getting your spacing right. Now, our axle shafts and everything, the offset or the bearing stick out, or the wheel mounting surface stick out, whatever you want to call that, is everything is based off of an International Scout. So again, you can look up those dimensions. If you start getting into like a Jeep Dana 44, the stick out of the axle shaft is, I believe, about 3/4 of an inch more. So this just sticks out that much more. But when this is all said and done and put together, it's going to be right at 57.5 inches wide, which is going to match up perfectly with our front axle. So we're going to stay We're going to be probably a hair wider than a stock wide track CJ7, but I don't think that's going to be an issue at all, especially going to a larger style axle shaft. So that's kind of the video on that setup. We'll get her together, and I'll do another video here once it's all together, painted and everything, what it looks like. And I just wanted to go over, though, our setup with the brakes and the axles, and hopefully you guys are getting out there and building your own. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.